We're live. Welcome, ladies. Hi, my name is Taylor Thompson, and this is the She Network. We're here in our members section, and I wanted to come on and introduce our trainer for tonight, Miss Denise Walsh. Now, you guys have heard her. She did her story. She did her interview back, gosh, I think last November? Was it? It's been almost a year ago. Like,
it's been a while, yeah.
It's been quite a bit back. And so, amazing story. She is like the #1 earner in her company right now, I do believe. I don't think that's changed. And she's got some amazing stuff to share with you guys. Now, I marked in here that this is the first part of a 3-part series that she's going to be doing. And so mark your calendars, because the next one is going to, the second part is going to be October the 15th. And then the third part is going to be November the 19th. And so you want to mark your calendars so you can be live and present for that. So make sure you have your pen, your pad, buckle in. And I'm just going to turn this over to Miss Denise. Thank you. Let me just say thank you so much for taking time out of your business to be here and to pour into the ladies here. That's very much appreciated. Very much.
Absolutely. I'm so honored and excited to connect with you guys all today.
Awesome.
Dive right in.
And so you guys, we're gonna be doing comments, and I'm gonna. Can you see the comment sections?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So you guys come in with any comments or any clarifications that you guys need. I'm gonna pop off, and I'm gonna let you take over. So.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, guys, let's dive right in. I am going to share my screen today. I would love for you to grab a pen and paper and settle into what we're going to talk about tonight, because I am not just going to teach and present, but my goal is to give you a roadmap for your own personal breakthroughs. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll share a bit of my story. This is my super handsome husband. We've been married about 15 years, and my 2 little boys, Owen and Eli. The most surprising thing about this picture is that both of my boys have red hair. I know. I thought that my children would look like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. In fact, we had to do IVF for our boys. And when Owen came out with red hair, I thought that they may have gotten the embryos switched in with the other couple in the waiting room that day. And when I found out I was pregnant with a second boy, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way they would look alike. And they do. So needless to say, 2 little boys. And I found out that they actually have had that happen, where embryos were switched at birth, and I decided that was no longer a funny joke to say. They're so handsome. They're now in 1st and 4th grade. So long before I had kiddos, I was about 20 years old, and I packed up my car with 3 months of clothes, CDs, probably, it was the year 2000, so books and, full of books and all these things. And I drove from Detroit, Michigan, all the way to Port Jervis, New York. I was so stinking excited to start my first camp counseling position at Tri-State Christian Camp, where our sole mission was to love inner city foster kids. So we bused the kids 2 hours from New York City to Port Jervis for the week of camp. And then, because most of the time the kids had families that didn't really want them home all summer, we saw these kids all summer long. They'd go home for a couple days and then come back. So you can imagine, right? Blonde hair, blue-eyed, youth group girl, full of hope, love, and all this energy, hanging out with kids ages 7 through 14 who had a lot of times already given up on their life. I remember feeling in just such grief in the few short years that these kids had. Their walls were up, their eyes were down. They often came to camp feeling forgotten. Most had experienced trauma. And not only was their family volatile, but their community was too. They trusted no one. So camp for them was a break from all of that. They got to swim in the lake, see the stars, run in the grass, and be surrounded by people who care. In fact, there was one girl named Davine. I don't really remember why she got in trouble that day at camp, but it was my job to walk around camp with her and pick up trash. That was my job. Yeah. So we walked around, we picked up trash. And at the end of the 30 minutes, I said, girl, I hope you learned your lesson. Like, come on. And to my surprise, she just stared at the ground and said nothing. And finally I said, all right, I expect you to behave, my friend, because we know you want to have fun. We want to have fun with you too. You are better than this. Davine again stared at the ground, rolled her eyes, and said, can I go now? Sighing, I said, yes, go have fun. If you have teenagers, you can relate. This one's Davine right here with the braces. To my surprise, what really surprised me about this experience is that for the next few weeks, this little girl clung to me. She held my hand walking from activity to activity. She made sure to sit next to me during chapel and during, our meal times. And I can tell you, in my 20-year-old brain, I realized that nobody had told this little girl that they believed in her before. Nobody had told her that they had high expectations of her. And when she figured out that I truly not just wanted her to behave, but believed that she could, she rose up to meet them. Let me tell you, I was sparked. Spark is when your soul is set on fire, right? It's when time goes by so fast and you are in the zone. It's when you know that this is where you're supposed to be. It's when you see yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are right now. And I knew that it was my sole purpose to help people do just that, where I could see them 3 steps ahead of where they are, and I could pour that belief into them. Have you ever experienced this? Really? Have you ever experienced a time when you felt your soul on fire? It's like you're connected with your soul calling. I want you to write that down. Write down a time when you felt sparked. On a scale of 1 to 10, my friends, this would be like a 10. You know what I mean? You just are like so in the moment and you freaking love it. And you guys, once your soul is sparked, it's our job to fan the flame. It was this situation at camp that led me to go to Wheaton College right outside Chicago to obtain my master's in clinical psychology, because I just knew there were other kids out there who needed my belief. Do we have anyone out there in the helping professions, teachers, daycare workers, nurses? Yes. Maybe you're a little bit like me. I graduated. I got my first job at a local community mental health. I was so stinking excited because I was off to change the world. Well, my friends, it did not take long for me to realize it was more about policy, paperwork, and procedure than it truly was about people. And I started going through what I call my quarter life crisis. I was so excited. I loved people. I had all this hope and belief. And slowly but surely, my belief started to shrink. I started to think, well, maybe this is just adulting. Maybe living for the weekends, being a zombie throughout the week, and maybe this is just my new normal. Yeah? So here's the deal. I had a choice to make because I knew what it was like to love what I was doing. And I could choose to stay in a place that I like to call here, even though I didn't really like it, or have the courage to step out into the unknown and search for that spark again. So here is a place that I describe as not where I want to be, yet comfortable. And so I was here when I was at my mental health job. I wanted a way out. I wanted to do something different, but at least I knew the paperwork. So I stayed. So I'm going to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is one of our first exercises, how would you rate your overall now? Like right now. So 10 would be living your dream life. Woohoo! Yes, like this is it. And 1 being not so much. So I'm going to give you a minute to take a look at all 7 areas of life. We've got family, friendship, finances, health, hobbies, business, and giving back. And I want you to rate each one on a scale of 1 to 10. and then figure out your average. And if you could write your average in the comments so we can see, that would be awesome. And this is what I call stirring up here, because the reality is we're not going to do hard things. We're not going to have the courage to step outside our comfort zone. We're not going to, do the growth needed in order to experience our next success if we're comfortable with here. So at some point we get to say, all right, I don't want to be here anymore, right? So let's see, where what in the comments is your average? When I do this exercise all around the world, a lot of people come back at me and they're like, I would rate myself an average of a 4. That's what they tell me. Even people I would deem successful. And I get it, because I would say I was a 4 when I was working my job. Honestly, a 10 felt so far away and only for those lucky people. And I didn't quite understand what was possible because a 4 seemed so normal. My friends were 4s. The conversation around the lunch table was a 4, complaining about where we are, but not doing anything about it. And then when I started to maybe make a change or do something different, they would ask me to stay or say, where are you going? Are you leaving us? And I can tell you, we get nervous when we take that step. We second guess. We wonder if we can do it. We may complain about where we are, but because it's comfortable, we often stay. And I stayed here for about 5 years, but I know some people who stay here for a lifetime. So let's see. Do you have any comments yet? Oh, I don't see any. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, there they are. I was in a different spot. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I think it's interesting when we really take a good look at where we are now. And again, here doesn't have to be bad, but it's not yet our full potential. So imagine living a 4 life, frustrated, restless, anxious, overwhelmed, not making changes. And imagine waking up in 5 years, so the year 2025, and you feel exactly the same. How would that feel? I want to hear it. I want you to say it. Feel it in 3, 2, 1. Yes. Oh my gosh. We're still here. Still in debt. Still stressed to the max. Still 1 week vacation. Still overwhelmed, underpaid, uncertain. Yeah? Okay. Ugh, we don't want to stay here anymore. So let's for a minute talk about there. Okay, so there is a personal vision of your future that produces passion. Yes. This is when you see yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are now. You've accomplished your dreams. You are living in your passion. You're living your dream life. You're living like you would rate everything a 10. So let's take a minute here. Let's take a minute thinking about what your life would look like if you were to rate everything a 10. So in 5 years, 2025, not only have you stepped outside your comfort zone, but you've promoted in your business. You've created systems for your team. You have created products and services and coaching programs or whatever it is that lights your soul up and impacts your people. You have hit your goals. You've been able to redream. I want to hear in 3, 2, 1 what that sounds like in 2025, you hitting your goals. 3, 2, 1. Yes. It's like that finish line feeling. Yes. All right. Good job. Yes. 5 short years. Absolutely. So much can change if we really start to create that momentum. So what do you think the hardest part is, right? Do you think the hardest part is here where getting started, stepping outside your comfort zone? Is it there really creating a clear vision for yourself? Any ideas? Or do you think it's, the middle? Yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Because the journey is where life happens. Yep, journey. We've got things like fear that get in the way. We've got things like guilt and relationship hurts or or heaviness that you're carrying, right? Maybe resentment from a past hurt, bitterness that's rooted and it's emotionally keeping you where you are. Imposter syndrome. Amen. Anybody else have imposter syndrome where you think I'm not good enough? Who am I? All that kind of stuff. Absolutely. Comparison game, jealousy, the how, skills. Sometimes we just need to know what microphone to buy, right? Sometimes we just need to learn copywriting. Sometimes we just need to learn a Facebook ad. Sometimes we need to learn some skills. Life trauma. Yeah. You guys, we cannot emotionally create when we're 3 steps behind. And so throughout the next couple meetings, we're going to focus on a lot of these different elements of designing our dream life. And one of them is healing through past hurts. Divorce, again, relationship dramas, struggles, yep, addiction. I mean, life happens. Yeah, life happens. And if we don't have a clear enough there, if our personal vision isn't strong enough, then when things start to happen, it's so easy for us to go back to what is comfortable, even if we don't like it. So we all have this choice to make, right? Do we stay where we are because it's comfortable, or do we take steps towards our spark? And to be honest, we make this choice every single day. So the Dream Life Pathway is what I am going to teach us over the next few meetings. And it's what I have done that has allowed me to create a vision so big that it gave me the courage to say yes to my Dream 10 life. The Dream Life Pathway is what I like to call the head, heart, feet approach to our dreams. So let me share with you a bit about what this means. Now, in this section, today we are going to focus on head. And I have several exercises for you to work through this aspect of the pathway. Next meeting, we are going to focus on heart and emotionally connecting to our goal, releasing the things that have hurt us. And then in session 3, we are going to focus on feet. Feet is all about action, skill building, time management, doing the actual work to get the results you're looking for. But today, let's start with head. So everybody say head, head, head. Good job. Thank you. So head is all about thoughts, mindset, clarity. And the lesson here is that we become what we think about. So Dr. Caroline Leaf, if you guys have ever heard of her, is a cognitive neuroscientist, which basically means that she has spent the last 30 years studying brains. And she has identified 2 main points. The first is that our brains are lazy. Yep. When a decision needs to be made, the brain chooses the shortest possible neurological connection that it can to process the circumstances without using more energy than necessary. And we create thousands of these thought integrations over the course of our lives. And from these thinking patterns, right, we derive basic assumptions about ourselves and the world. And this is what we now call our thought habits. It's kind of like bowling in a gutter. You know, you bowl and the ball goes right into the gutter, and your thought just immediately goes whoop right into that thought pattern, and off it goes. So what does this mean for us? Well, out of the 70,000 thoughts we think a day, 90% of them are habitual. We basically, you guys, are living on autopilot. We make decisions, we respond to situations via this neurological shortcut. So even if it isn't the best choice, it's simply easier for our brain. So here's the deal, right? Like, this can be really helpful. If you have positive thought habits and positive outlook and positive thoughts, then yes, this is a great tool to help you create the life that you want, since your thoughts take you in the direction you want to go. However, if we're living in fear, if we have a negative outlook, if we're that lead to negative thoughts, then if we actually want to see change in our physical world, then our thought habits need to change first. So here's an interesting piece to the story. I got started in my home-based business over 13 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing when I first got started, and I had a lot to learn along the way. But back a few years ago, I think it was 2013, I had this big dream to hit the goal of Black Diamond, which is the highest pin level in our company. You have to earn a 6-month a specific income for 6 consecutive months. And I can tell you, my thoughts were not taking me there. What I realized in doing this work myself is that my habitual thoughts were things like, who am I to earn that kind of money? Or what if we don't make it? How embarrassing would that be? Would it be funny if we missed this goal by just a few $1,000s? I'm not sure if I'm good enough or smart enough to actually hit this goal. And you guys, nobody would have known that I was thinking this way because I was doing the work and I was saying the things. But in my heart of hearts, my thoughts were just taking me down this place of it's not going to happen. I didn't take them captive. And guess what? I didn't hit my goal. So I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to lose weight, but yet you find the story you're telling yourself being that you're just not fit. You are addicted to sugar. It doesn't work for you. You've tried everything. Or maybe you set a goal and immediately think, yeah, that won't happen. Yeah. I feel like we've all been there. We've self-sabotaged. Absolutely. We discount ourselves. We say one thing, but yet in our brains, we really don't quite believe it. And so during that time, I did miss the goal by just a few $1,000s. And I got a call from our CEO later that month to tell me. And I told her what had been going on all month long. And she said, Denise, you did it to yourself. I didn't take my thoughts captive. I didn't retrain my brain. I just let them run wild. And those thoughts were habitually self-sabotaging. So again, we have a choice to make. Are we going to allow these thoughts to take us in a direction we don't want to go? Or are we going to learn to take them captive, to have a clear vision of what it is we want next and hone our thoughts and mind to focus on that? So what is your current goal? What is your current goal? And when you speak that goal out loud, what habitual thoughts stir up for you? Write this down on your paper because I think you guys, at the end of the day, we have got to do this work first before we actually see it happen in fruition, right? So what is your next goal? What is your current goal? And what are some of the habitual thoughts that you have surrounding it? Today, I am going to teach you life's pattern. And I'm going to tell you, when you know the pattern to life, when you can get this piece of the pattern clear, then what you'll find is that everything else kind of puts it like clicks into place. So what is the missing letter in this pattern? Anybody? At first, it looks like a jumbled mess, doesn't it? But the missing letter is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So now that you know the pattern, what is the missing letter in this pattern? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now that you see the pattern, you know it's not just a bunch of jumbled letters. You can easily see it this next time, right? Well, now that we have identified our habitual thoughts, we can identify if they're true for us. We can clarify what it is we truly want, and we can start to create thought patterns based on what it is we want. And what happens is that life all of a sudden starts to click in place. Once you know the pattern, you see things much more clearly. So I am going to take us through some clarifying exercises. So we know you become what you think about. So let's think about who and what you want to become. And we're going to do that by creating some clarity so you can see yourself 3 steps ahead. So you can start to really picture what it is that you want and emotionally connect to it. Are you guys ready? Woohoo! All right. So let's dive right in. The first thing I'm going to do is actually ask you to create a life purpose statement. And we're going to go through a meditation. And the goal here, you guys, is to, again, start to see yourself as your best self. Start to see yourself as with the desires of your heart, like on your sleeve. And so I'm going to ask you to write your statement in just a minute. But before I do, I'd love to take you through a life purpose guided visualization. And if you can put your feet on the floor, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths and settle in. So I'd like you to just inhale through your nose for a count of 4. And exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Do this about 4 or 5 times on your own, just calming your thoughts down, centering them. And now just become aware of the rise and fall of your chest and stomach as you let your breathing find its own natural rhythm. And now you find yourself standing in the middle of a very beautiful meadow, a field full of grass and beautiful wildflowers on a warm, sunny day somewhere in the countryside. As you look around, you can see a little breeze moving at the top of the grass as it flows across the field. You can see the wildflowers of many colors. And as you look up into the sky, you see it's mostly blue with a few white puffy clouds. The sun is shining, it's warm but not too hot. As you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, you hear the birds singing in the distance, and you realize this is a very safe place. Because as you look out into the field, you see deer grazing, unconcerned, knowing that it too is safe. Off in the distance, you can see a very tall, majestic mountain. You feel drawn to this mountain and you begin to slowly walk towards it. As you're walking toward the mountain, you notice some of the sights you see. Perhaps there are other fields, homes, animals, whatever there might be. Perhaps you cross over a stream, you hear the bubbling of the water. You arrive at the foot of the mountain, you stop and look down and you notice what you're standing on. Whatever it is, just notice it. A roadway, grass, leaves, pine needles. As you look up again, you hear a sound off to one side. As you look, you notice there's a magic carpet gently drifting down towards you until it lands right in front of you. You feel drawn to sit on this carpet, and as you step onto it and sit down, this carpet very gently begins to lift up and slowly fly up the side of the mountain. As it gets higher and higher, you can feel the air growing a little cooler, and you notice you can see further and further. The higher you go, the wider your perspective. Eventually, as you approach the top of the mountain, you see there's a very beautiful and majestic temple. It is a beautiful spiritual building at the top of the mountain, and this magic carpet very slowly begins to land right in front of the doorway that leads into this temple. As you get up and begin to walk into the temple, you realize it's a very sacred space. So as a way of honoring that, you reach down and take off your shoes. As you continue to enter the temple, you notice how quiet it is, how peaceful, how sacred, how silent. As you enter further into the temple, you can see at the far end there's a beam of light coming down through a skylight. You can almost see little particles of dust dancing in the light. And as you find yourself drawn to this column of light, you eventually find yourself standing right in front of it. As you look up into this column of light, you begin to see floating down through the light a very wise and loving being. Floating gently down through this column of light until this being lands right in front of you. You notice something you hadn't noticed before. This being of light, this wonderful being, is carrying a beautiful golden box. And the wise being says, I have brought you a gift, and this gift will help you realize and understand your life's purpose. It's a symbol that represents your life purpose for you. This being reaches out, hands you the box. As you take it, you can feel the weight, texture, and temperature of it. With a lot of anticipation and excitement and curiosity, you begin to open the box and see what's inside. When you see the gift, you lift it out of the box and hold it in your hands. You can look at it from different angles, turn it around and feel it. The wise being reminds you this gift symbolizes your life purpose, or the next step in the unfolding of that life purpose, as you're able to understand it now. The wise being says, if you have any questions about this purpose, the meaning of the symbol, or anything at all related to it, you can ask me, and I will answer. Then this wise and loving being says, it's time for you to go. Take your gift with you and return it to the bottom of the mountain. But before you do, this wise being offers you a warm embrace, a nurturing hug. As you receive the embrace, you can feel the love and power of this being flooding into you, filling your mind, your heart, and your body with love, joy, strength, and the power to fully live your life purpose. And the wise being steps back and says, anytime you want me, I'll be here. Just come to the top of the mountain and enter into the temple. I will always be here to answer any questions you might have about anything at all. So knowing you can always return, you watch as this wise being begins to slowly float back through the column of light until you find yourself standing alone once again in the temple. Now you realize it's time to take your gift, the symbol for your life purpose, and all the awareness of what it means back with you. So you begin to leave the temple, and as you do, you stop and put on your shoes. You find the magic carpet is waiting for you, so you step onto it and sit down. As you do, it begins to slowly and gently lift off and begin its journey back down the mountain. As you descend further and further down the mountain, you notice that as the ground comes closer, you can't quite see as far as you could from the top of the mountain. And the air starts to get warmer, and eventually you find yourself back where you started. As you step off the carpet carrying your gift with you, you look down and once again notice what you're standing on. You begin to become aware of your back against the chair, your feet on the ground, and the rise and fall of your chest. And when you're ready, I'd love for you to share in the comments what was in your box that connected to your life purpose. You can spend a minute writing, drawing what you saw and what it meant for you. Staying close to our spark means that we're staying close to our life purpose. And no matter what our current position is, our job, our situation, when we connect it to this life purpose, all of a sudden things become clear. So you can take a minute and write all this down. I'll give you 1 minute and then I'll move on, and you'll be able to pause this. If you're listening to the recording, come back to it. I want to give you enough time here that you need, but I also know that, we have only a couple minutes or 20 minutes. So we have not done the business purpose statement yet. We'll do that in just a minute. But what I want you to do now is just to picture what you saw in your box, or write it down so you can capture that moment of what you saw in that box. Yeah. So we can move on to writing our business purpose statement. And so again, on your piece of paper, write down 4 numbers, and I'll walk you through this paper. Yes, what did you see in your box? And how did it connect with your life purpose? For sure. All right, so the first one, and we're writing our life purpose statements. We're taking that bigger, kind of grander feeling and emotion of our life purpose and what was in our box and what that really meant to you. Oh, what did I see? Well, I can't really see while I'm reading it, so nothing this time. But before, when I've done this, I have seen 2 things. I've seen a key, and I have seen like an eagle. And I have felt like that has meant that part of my job, right, is to unlock. I feel like part of my life purpose is to help you unlock yours. Yeah. So that's when I do this exercise, that's what I have seen in the past. So, all right. So the first one with you saw a rose? Is that what that is? A rose? So tell me what does that rose mean to you? Yeah. What does that mean to you? I love that. That's beautiful. So then you asked, what does that mean? What do you get? Yeah, it's so fun. So what we want to do is we want to take that bigger kind of emotional life purpose moment, the feeling of what it feels like to be surrounded by that love. And we want to bring it down to like tangible, like what is my life purpose? All right. So absolutely. I love that. You want to let women know just how beautiful they all are. I love that. You saw your homeland. Oh, that's awesome. That's really special. Yeah. So in this life purpose statement, in the first one, list 2 of your unique personal qualities. So for mine is like my energy, my passion, and my belief. So what is yours? What are 2 personal qualities that you have that you would say you are really proud of, that really kind of stand out to you as being special? The second thing is to list 1 or 2 ways you enjoy expressing these qualities. So, these are action words: supporting, inspiring, cheerleading, helping, coaching, whatever it is. These are action words. So how do you express those qualities? Number 3 is assume the world is perfect in this moment. What does it look like? How is everybody interacting, right? Let's imagine that we live in our dream world. And so for me, people are fully confident and they're overflowing with joy because they know they're enough. Like in my world, when people know how awesome they aren't emotionally triggered or taking things personally all the time because they're secure and strong in themselves, right? So combine all 3 prior subdivisions into a paragraph. And again, you can screenshot this and come back to it if I'm not giving you quite enough time to write things down. But you want to combine all 3 of those statements. So an example would be the mission of my business, because I'm connecting this with my business, is to use my passion and belief to support and inspire others to feel fully confident and overflow with joy, knowing that they are enough. Now, this is your life purpose statement. I connect this with my business, knowing that my business is also helping me live out my life purpose. And again, you guys, the cool thing about this is that when you start seeing yourself 3 steps ahead, when you start seeing yourself executing on these dreams, when you start realizing that this is why you're here on earth, your there becomes so much more clear. And that's our goal here. Another exercise. This is just going to be a 5, let's do 3 minutes. I'll set my timer for 3 minutes. Again, this is a clarity building exercise to support you in really getting clear on what you want next. Now, again, the goal is like, we know that the goal is always moving, meaning like you're never finished. You know what I mean? You're never finished. So we always want to be digging deep and growing more. And so in this exercise, I am going to ask you one simple question over and over and over again. And what I'd love for you to do is write down whatever comes to mind, whatever comes to mind. And again, afterwards, read it aloud to someone in your family. There's power in thinking it. There's power in writing it. There's power in speaking it. All right, so I'm going to set a timer. I am going to ask you the question, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And I want you to write down whatever comes to mind. What do you want? 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 Just write it down. No right or wrong. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Just answer down, write down whatever comes to mind. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you really want? What do you want? What do you want? Write it down. Allow the dreams to bubble up. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? All right, that was 2 minutes. Did that seem really long? Or did it not seem long enough? I'd love for you to put some of the dreams that bubbled up for you in the chat or the comments below so we can all kind of see. It just gives you a space to honor the dreams that are bubbling up through this exercise. And again, if you didn't have enough time, then you can certainly go back. I have my clients ask themselves this question almost every day, make it a habit to say, well, what do I really want? What is important to me? And the idea here is, again, we're giving those dreams a space to bubble up. Oftentimes you'll find, you start with, I want a car, I want to pay off my house, I want, world peace, I want, but then eventually you get to things you can put on your calendar. Like, I want date nights with my spouse. I want date nights with my sons. I want to go on a family vacation. I want, you know what I mean? And you start to bubble up things. I've had started businesses during this exercise when you say, what do you really want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And again, we're creating clarity for that personal vision. When you take a look at your list of the things that you want, circle the ones that you can impact. Circle the ones that you can control. Circle the ones that you can put on your calendar right now. I want to work out every day. Okay, well, tomorrow, what time are you working out? What are some things that you can truly move the needle on right now? And what you'll find is that there's a lot that you can start today. Yeah? All right, well, we've got one more exercise with clarity. And because we're business owners often here, most of us, right? What I want you to do is I want you to describe your dream business day. And so what I want you to do on your piece of paper, and again, I'm going to start a timer here, is I want you to take you from the morning to night of your thriving business. So often when I'm talking to people and I say, well, what does your dream day look like? They're like, I'm retired on the beach with residual income coming in. And I say, that's good. But a lot of things have to happen before that happens, right? Like we're going to create momentum in your business. You're going to, let's talk about that. And so what we want to do is I want you to picture your thriving business day. You have an onset of leads pouring in to your organization. You always have people to follow up with. Your pipeline is always full. You're creating a thriving business or email list, and you send an email out and get orders or signups. You have a team with a system of training. New distributors are duplicating. You've got leadership development and growth, and everybody's connected and having so much fun together. And so I'm going to walk you through your thriving business day. Means you're busy, right? It means you're busy. It means you've got stuff going on, but you've got a system for it all. You can outsource help. You can get help with cleaning. You can get help with follow-up. You can get help with marketing or Facebook ads or whatever it is that you feel like is not your forte. This is your dream business, so you can get help with all of it. So I'm going to ask you to start from the morning and just write down what your dream business day would look like, and I'll give you a few minutes now. You wake up in the morning and you have a beautiful view. You have your coffee, you work out, you take the kids to school, whatever it is. You sit down and follow up with your eager leads who are excited to join your team. You have time for follow-up, you have time for training, you have time for leadership, you've got personal development in your calendar, you're working out, whatever it is for you. So I'd love for you to share a few things in the comments on what your dream day consisted of. All right. So head in the Dream Life Pathway is all about clarity. It's all about mindset. It's all about setting your internal GPS so your body knows where you're going. And by doing some of these exercises and giving your brain getting it out of the monkey mind, settling into your heart and really asking yourself, what is my life purpose? Why am I here? How does my business connect to my life purpose? How does my business allow me to live through my life purpose, either within my team or because of it? And when you start to see yourself 3 steps ahead of where you are now, when your personal vision is so stinking exciting that you will walk through the journey because you're so excited about where you are going. Everybody say head. 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 Head is one of the most crucial pieces of the Dream Life Pathway. And if you ever feel stuck, ask yourself, do I know what I want? Do I know why I want it? And do I have the clear vision of where I'm going? I often tell my team, I don't work my business based on how I feel. I work this business based on what I want. And what I want is so stinking clear that it gets me up in the morning, excited to go pursue it. I hope that this was helpful to you. You guys definitely go back and go through some of the exercises if you needed a bit more time. Next month, we're going to hone in on your emotional center. We're going to work through some of the hard feelings that happen when you're working with people, bitterness, grief, guilt, all of that stuff. We're going to do some exercises to help us release an onion layer of that heaviness, because again, we cannot create when we're 3 steps behind. So join me next month on the She Network to help heal through that growth to catapult you to where you want to go.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. I took so much notes. I'm just typing away here. This was so good. I would just want to know, as you went through this exercise for yourself, can you share some of the things that whenever you wrote down your want statements, because and I hope you don't mind me taking just a few extra minutes here because, sometimes I think women, they get bogged down and they want, and they don't allow themselves to want things because they think it's selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Can you address that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. These exercises are in Design Your Dream Life, especially and more, right? Because we want to work through this and peel this. What I find is that often people will second guess their wants and desires, and they'll say, well, is this what I want? Or is this what God wants? I'm not sure. Yeah. And then we're wishy-washy. Yeah. And so what I've really learned to do is to trust and know that what I want is what God wants. He's putting these desires in my heart. Yeah. And so as long as what I want is helpful to the world and not harmful, then I trust that he's giving me these desires. And I've often said, if this isn't you, take it away. but the truth never changes. The
Yeah.
truth never changes. And so you'll find those same desires pop up within your spirit time and time again. And it's time to honor them.
I love that. And I thank you so much for sharing that too, because I just feel like, I just think that women, because we have that tendency to put ourselves on the back burner for everything. And I think this is a really, it's a great exercise, but I also think it's a challenging exercise because, we think I think there's a lot of resistance in this arena. So this is such a great conversation. And so, like, do you mind sharing like some of the things like what you did and how you wanted that? Because just for stimulation of thinking, how you got clear in your business. What are the things that you did personally? Because, missing the mark, you shared in your story just by 1,000. What did you do? She said, because you said, she said you did it to yourself.
I did it to myself. I know.
So what did you change, and what was the catalyst, and what were the GPSs that you did with the mindset to get you through that barrier?
So what we did as a team that year that we hit Black Diamond was we did the Come As You Will Be party. The Come As You Will Be party is when you pretended 5 years ahead and you come dressed as that person, who you are in 5 years. We did all of these exercises as a team to prepare for this party.
Okay.
That preparation to prepare for this party is what allowed me to get out of, this is what I want, but have my heart go, yeah, right. I became so clear that I focused on what I wanted rather than the fear, because the fear still was there. What if we don't make it? I'm not sure. I don't know. But instead of allowing, and that's when I took my thoughts captive, right? And I focused on what I wanted. So I wrote it everywhere. I wrote it on my phone, on my computer, on my mirror, on my refrigerator, on my car. I wrote it down everywhere. I just had it so front and center in my brain on where I was going. And then in the heart section of what we do, I really had to align my beliefs for it. I often say, if your dreams make you make you feel bad about yourself, then you either need to grow your belief or change your dream, because we have to believe that it's possible. We have to be excited about it, or else we're not going to really go for it or create that magic. So because I didn't have another goal, that was the only goal, because I had already reached ambassador, we were already there. I had to grow my belief to match my goal. And so part of it was acting as if it had already happened. And it was really gaining clarity in the fact that I'm Black Diamond. I'm Black Diamond. How does a Black Diamond act? How does a Black Diamond live their day? What does that really look like? And so by the time we actually hit the goal, I was like, well, duh, I've been here in my head for a long time.
I love it. I mean, and this is so, so scriptural, because, in the back of it says, write it down and make it plain. Right. And so I put there in the notes, thinking it, there's power in it, writing it, there's power in it, but saying it, yes, I think is a whole nother level, right?
Yes.
Because saying it out loud, I think you're actually really speaking. Faith comes by hearing, right? I think that's a whole nother level that I don't think a lot of people leverage that piece of it. Would you agree?
Well, it's true. When you speak things out loud, it vibrates throughout your entire body and impacts you at a cellular level. And so when we talk about, what do you really want, then start writing affirmations like it's already there. And that's, again, and you start to imagine yourself 3 steps ahead. You start to imagine yourself at the finish line. You start to really picture it. And those things unlock parts of your body, parts of your brain that allow those the how, right, to come into existence. And so it really is a powerful tool if we know how to utilize it.
And you said something too that really, I think, really hinder people whenever they start writing things down, or they start, what do I want? What do I want? That they don't stay in that process, that they get derailed by thinking, well, how am I going to do that?
Yes,
right.
Exactly. That's not the question.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly. Well, you start counting yourself out before it's even possible. So I didn't ask how. I said, what do you want? Because we know all things are possible.
Yes.
And so it truly is just giving God the space to move,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
trusting that He can.
So I mean, just like if as you're going through this exercise, ladies, whenever the question comes in, how am I? Don't stop. Keep going. What do I want? That's why you kept saying, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" Right.
Right.
So just keep reminding yourself, what do I want? What do I want? And don't, whenever the how comes in, say, no, what do I want? Right?
When you know what you want, you know why you want it, the how will figure itself out.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you. I just thank you so much for taking time out from your business and from your family and your beautiful little boys. What a blessing this is, and certainly looking forward to the heart aspect of this, because like looking forward to step 2. This was really, really powerful. So thank you for taking out time. So appreciate this.
Absolutely. Have an amazing day, my friends, and definitely keep me posted on how you gain clarity throughout these exercises too.
I am. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, ladies. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.